Right. It appears we're pretty much good to go then. So I'll say hi to everybody. Thank you very much for joining us, and please do bear with us. This is our first webinar about WorldSkills UK, so do be kind. We've got you all here today to hopefully help you learn more about the WorldSkills UK competitions, enable you to sort of get the most out of them in terms of how to register, when to register, and the information available through not only the WorldSkills UK website, but the Semta website and various websites such as Autodesk and which will come on to. You may have heard that, and that's actually thunder and lightning just actually started right on cue, so I do apologise.
And if you are struggling to hear us, it is being recorded, so you'll be able to see it later on the various channels as well, which you'll probably be able to see us then. So if you are struggling, you won't miss anything, you'll still get to see it later.
That's right. And for anybody else that struggles to hear it, please do remember we'll send a link out to everybody, and we'll hopefully be able to catch up with any information. And don't hesitate to send us any questions to the WorldSkills UK email address if you've got anything specific after the webinar as well. We'll go on to do some introductions. I'm Joanne O'Brien. I'm from Semta, and I'm Semta's competitions and funding specialist. Been working on competitions for about 5 years now. So hopefully in terms of structure and the framework and things like that, I will be able to help. We've got Matt Desk on from Autodesk, so I'll let Matt introduce himself.
Good afternoon all, Matthew Bell from Autodesk Education. I'm the training manager and expert for mechanical engineering CAD, but also the cluster lead for all engineering competitions.
And hi everyone, I'm Joe Headley. I am a 4th year mechanical aeronautical engineering apprentice based at MOD Boscombe Down in Wiltshire, and I was the gold medal winner for the competition at the Skills Show back in November last year.
Okay, so what we've got here is we've got 3 different sort of types of people in the webinar, and hopefully that will help us cover all different aspects of the competitions in terms of the structure, why to get involved, how to get involved, and some of the timing. But please do send us any questions either via the chat box or separately via the email address. So we'll just start with some of the benefits of competing. Hopefully on your screen you should be able to see the slide that actually gives different benefits for competitors, for organisations, and also for the staff within those organisations. But what I'm going to do is I'm sort of going to hand over to Joe for a moment for him to be able to just give a little bit of an overview of why he got involved in skills competitions.
Okay, I got involved. I was put forward by a couple of my tutors, my training tutors from Kinetic. They put me forward because they obviously showed promise in my skills and ability within my field of aeronautical engineering. For me, I got a hell of a lot out of the skills show for everything. It was a huge boost in confidence for myself, mainly because it showed me that I was very able at doing the task that was asked of me at the skills show. And obviously I was put under pressure, but yeah, that brought the best out in me. And for me to come away with the gold, not to take anything away from the 6 that I competed against because they were all fantastic, but for me to come away with the gold, again, massive boost in confidence. It was a brilliant opportunity for me, and I would recommend it to anyone. I really would. Brilliant altogether.
Thank you, Joe. Matt, if I can hand over to you as well, and you can sort of talk about some of the benefits from a cluster lead perspective and the years that you've actually spent working on both national and international competitions.
Absolutely. So sort of looking from my background, I was a college lecturer when I first got involved back in 2006. So it was a great opportunity for me to really keep my skills up to date with the latest technology changes and the advances within each of the industry areas. I just think it's a great opportunity to really showcase the excellence that's being delivered out there, and for colleges and employers to put their students or their employees really on the map. And as we say, just an opportunity to showcase the great work that is taking part out there, while at the same time keeping your standards up by allowing you to be working at the very high level for international competitions.
Thank you, Matt. We'll just go on to some of the obvious things that we just wanted to cover. The WorldSkills UK registration website is currently open today, so anyone can register in terms of apprentices, students. Each competition has a set of criteria of the type of students and apprentices and employees that we're looking for. And there's various sets of information on each one of those competitions. So please do take the time to have a little look around the WorldSkills UK website and test what competitions you may be interested. Have a look at the work that is available, the information that is available there for you to not only register but to see in terms of previous tasks and competitions that might be there for you that you could have a look at and get a better flavour for the competitions and how they run, what the skills are involved. As I said, the registration date from today, the 10th of February, and registration will remain open until 5 p.m. on the 21st of March. So it's not a lengthy period, but there's plenty of time for you to be able to register.
And sorry, from a competitor's point of view or perspective, it is very easy to do. You know, get yourself on and do it. Very easy.
It's quite right. It is very, very simple. It's the same sort of details you would expect normally to put in any sort of registration, you know, your sort of name, address, date of birth, that kind of thing. Nothing too cumbersome. So it's quite straightforward. The one thing that we would say to people who are actually registering is to remember to actually go in after you've registered and confirm your details. You will get a little nudge of an email that says go in and actually confirm your details. Please don't forget to do that. It's the way the WorldSkills UK registration team can confirm that you are who you are and that is your email address.
Also, there is plenty of information on the website. I know it benefited me a lot looking at the tasks that, say, last year the skills show did. It gave me sort of an idea of what to prepare or how to prepare, what to prepare for using the website. I know that for the aeronautical side of it, there is stuff on there that will benefit you as a competitor.
Okay. Also, if you have any specific inquiries, need any further details, you're having trouble registering, there's various different routes that you can actually go to find out more information. WorldSkills UK have a dedicated customer services team who can help you, take you through the process of registering or deal with any queries or any hiccups in terms of the registering. We have a dedicated email address for more specific enquiries about engineering. If there is certain questions that you need answering that you need us to direct to our technical team, please do just let us know through that. And obviously, you know, the Semta customer services as well available as well. So we'll just go through some of the things that Joe mentioned about preparation in terms of getting ready for a competition. First thing obviously is to talent spot. Now there is some talent spot sheets available on the website to help you think about what type of person you do need to go into a competition. And how you select those. Matt, I don't know whether you want to come in at this point and sort of give some pointers in terms of the type of person, what makes a good competitor.
Absolutely. So also looking at the information that is available on each of the competition pages, they are specifically for those competitions, but you'll also find contact details on there of the WorldSkills training manager, who we're quite lucky with the engineering competitions because they are all involved in the national competitions as well. So you'll have contact details there, people you can ask specific questions about the competition that you are interested in. In terms of selecting your competitors, I think what's important is that the competitors are also fully aware of what the competition entails and what potentially this journey could be. If they do take part in a competition that takes them into an international competition, I must admit that it's very difficult sometimes when you arrive at a college to run a heat and you find that the competitors aren't fully aware of what they've actually been signed up to or are signed up to. So I would say just get as much information to the competitors as possible. And you'll also find that on the WorldSkills web pages, there are some great bits of information that you can share with the competitors and give them a chance to look at the website. They can look at case studies of how people have got involved in the competitions and where they've ended up. I know from our point of view, we've got a large number of competitors who've taken to international competitions and they've traveled the world as part of this. And it's a great opportunity for them to improve their CV, and there's a huge amount they do get out of it. I think the biggest one, though, is just about being aware that there are people that you can ask questions to. And I know from my point of view, being an organizer of the CAD competition, always more than happy for members of staff to contact me, but also for any of your students. And I think I can speak on behalf of all the competition partners as well, that we'd be more than happy to answer any questions. So please feel free to ask anything that you do have. As we say, we try to give as much information on the web page as possible, but there is anything that we can help with, then you'll have our email addresses, and I believe you've also got our mobile phone numbers that are part of the competitions page as well. So feel free to just contact us at any time. If there's anything you have any concerns about in terms of logistics of how do I run maybe a selection competition in my own college prior to that, again, just contact the appropriate person. I know from our point of view, we're happy to come along at times and support you with getting the latest technology, the software, the learning resources and materials, so that you have everything in place to give your competitors the best opportunity to have success at the national competitions.
That's certainly the case. And as Matt says, please do contact us. You can usually find that if you've got a question that you can't answer, somebody else will be asking the same thing too. So please don't think that there's any silly questions, anything we can answer or we can sort of organise with you. So please do, any questions, just send those to either via the WorldSkills UK website or to the specific technical people. We'll sort of just move on to some of the training opportunities which is attached to the competitions. On the WorldSkills UK website itself, you will find competitor toolkits. These are a great set of toolkits which will be able to help you as a competitor, and actually if you are registering competitors, you'll be able to look at these, which help them to build their confidence and think about what it is they want to gain from taking part in a competition, and some of the softer skills in sort of how to prepare, how to manage their time, and lots of different information on there. So it goes through stages, so it is actually not a sort of a full day. You can do it in very short bites and work through the information at your own leisure. So some great stuff on there that you can have a look at and take either students or apprentices through. There's also on there, which I think Joe touched upon earlier on, there's some skill-specific test projects available. And what these are test projects that we've used in previous years for different skills. So for instance, you can go on there and find tasks from 2011 and 2012 for CAD projects. You can go on there and find various different sets of information for industrial electronics. There's some great resources and links to other websites as well, where you will be able to find training and different information that will help you actually prepare for a regional heat or a selection. What we actually offer as well beyond is some skill-specific off-site training. Now this is beyond the regional heats and in preparation for the national finals. And again, it's something to be aware of. If people are actually gaining a place at the national finals, we do want them to be prepared and be able to attend that fully prepared, ready for the competition, fully aware of what it is that's expected of them. And for that, we actually do some off-site training, usually dependent on the skill. It can be something from 2 days to 4 days. But like I say, information does come out after regional heats for that.
Following on from Joe with the national, the final training for your apprentices or employees, from my point of view, it was a great experience for me because I got to meet the people I would be competing against. So if you've maybe got 1 or 2 shy employees or apprentices, maybe a bit nervous about it all, on edge about it all, like I was, the final training was brilliant because we all socialised, we all got to know each other, got to know our competitors, and it sort of put us all at ease, because when we got to Birmingham for the NEC for the skills show, the final last year in November, we all knew each other. We were all like friends then. So it does really settle your nerves if you have nervous apprentices or employees. Also, it does settle the nerves and put everyone at ease, like it did for me.
Matt, did you want to say a little bit more about the training that's available?
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the important things as well is to realize that actually it isn't just about entering a competition and taking part in a competition. Every one of these competitors will go through a huge learning curve as well, even if it is just by taking part in one of the regional competitions. We're very, very keen to ensure that there's always feedback given to the competitors that can see how they could improve in the future. And the off-site training that takes place between the national final and the end of the regionals is also extremely relevant for them when they then go back into the workplace. So they are getting the equivalent of, in our case, for mechanical engineering CAD for the week's training, it's around about sort of £1,500 to £2,000 per competitor that would have cost if they'd have had to pay for that themselves. So it's also a huge opportunity for your employees and your students to upskill and use that as a great learning opportunity at the same time.
Thank you, Matt. We'll just move on. What we'll actually sort of cover is we'll just cover the different skills that Semta as an organising partner can offer with our skills specific delivery partners. We've just on the next two slides listed the different skills that we as an organising partner are responsible for. Through there, anybody that's been involved in the competitions and specifically engineering competitions before will recognise most of these. Sheet metal work technology, that's quite a newish competition. We brought it in last year, so this will be the second year it's running. Last year we didn't have regional heats for that, but we will be having regional heats this year, so please do take a look at that. That one is growing and growing as the competition sort of strengthens in terms of regional heat and getting more and more competitors in. CAD obviously, which is Matt's forte, so I'll dip over that one for now, but I'll let Matt talk about that one in a moment. On the second page we've got, sorry, I've jumped 2 pages. On the second page we've actually also got the Manufacturing Team Challenge. Now the Manufacturing Team Challenge is a brand new competition for this year. It's a team of 3 people and covers a lot of different skills, which has got CNC in there, CAD in there, and industrial electronics. With it being a brand new competition, there's lots of scope, and obviously with it being a team event, it gives lots of scope to actually have different competitors in there from different skills within your organisation. Matt, I know you have sort of seen this firsthand at international competition, and you might want to touch upon that when you actually tell us a little bit more about the CAD. Is that okay? I'll hand over to you.
No problem at all. So in terms of where the kind of the Manufacturing Team Challenge sits in as well, you tend to find a lot of colleges and training providers will do these 3 areas, but in the past haven't really brought them together in one team competition. So it is a great opportunity if you do have different departments in your engineering section that want to get together and try to put a team forward. So I think the interesting thing there is just take a look at the brief and the new web page that's being developed and have a look at some of the scope that's involved in it. But I think it's a fantastic competition to try and get your whole engineering departments involved in. In terms of the mechanical engineering CAD competition, we've been running this very successfully since sort of 2007, and the numbers are growing and growing. We have a large network now of regional centres that will be supporting us to deliver live heat. So last year we went into a more of a passive event whereas this year we're actually going back to live heats, and we're looking to tie in some teacher training opportunities as well, so that not only are the competitors coming and taking part in the competition, but the staff can come along and get some CPD at the same time. Hopefully that will encourage people to go away and even get more numbers coming back into the competition the following year. We have a number of websites again where you can get additional information about the CAD competitions and access to the software and tutorials. One of the big things we are trying to ensure are that you have all the tools you need to be able to not only deliver the program, the CAD units, etc., in your college or training center, but also at home. So a lot of the work we're doing from an Autodesk point of view is around making sure the software is free for your colleges and free for your training centers, and you've got access to it free at home as well. So just trying to build as much of this toolkit as possible, so that you feel confident to be able to deliver the subject in the classroom, and then really confident to be able to then put competitors forward for the national regional competitions.
And also, if I can just sort of on the same basis touch upon the industrial electronics competition, for those people who've been involved in that before, or it's the first time you're actually going to get involved in that, we've really tried to strengthen that with some fantastic information from Premier EDA Solutions, who we've been working with to offer Altium training. And the links to the Altium training and to the Premier EDA Solutions website, where you can download vast amounts of training and further information about those tasks within the industrial electronics competition, is really worthwhile going on and having a look at. So for those of you who have sort of been involved in competitions before, we hope you'll find some of the work and information that we've put into the competitions this year much more helpful. So please do feedback on that if there's other things that you would like to see as well. I won't go through all of the different competitions individually. We're just sort of touching on a couple of things where we've made some real improvements in terms of the information that's available. We do hope to make some more webinars which will be skill specific, so please do watch out for those. But what we'll do is we'll just show you sort of who our sponsors are at the moment. Sorry, I'm not hitting that button very well at the moment. Give you an idea of who some of the contributing sponsors are for the competitions. This isn't absolutely everybody that's involved in the competitions. This is just a highlighted few. But what we're going to do now is we're just going to sort of hand it open to questions, and hopefully we'll be able to answer a few of your questions now. So if you do have any questions, please do let me know. And what I'll do is I'll just whiz back a couple of slides if you bear with me. So I'm just going to leave the registration details on there for anybody who is interested in either registering or emailing any further questions after the webinar.
As you're probably aware, guys, there's the little chat box on the bottom right hand corner. Type your questions in there, and me and Joe and Matthew will do our best to answer them.
Okay, so we've got a question here from Caroline, and her question's asking about do you have to be a student or part of a company to register? Well, the honest answer is no, you don't have to be a student or part of a company. You can be an apprentice. However, as you move through the competitions, if you can get either employer or college or training provider support, it does help. But it is something that we can sort of help you with and look at as you progress through the competitions. So no, whether you're unemployed or not at college at the moment, maybe you finished your course, you can still apply and register to be a competitor. But like I say, it certainly does help if you've got either employer or college support. I hope that sort of answers your question.
Matt, that looks like a question for you, if you can see that one.
Matt, we've got a question about software.
That's right. So for the regional competitions, it's either Autodesk Inventor or SolidWorks that's used for the competition.
Sorry, there's a little bit of delay on typing as well for the questions. So to try to get them as quick as we can. It sounds like we're getting plenty of questions at one time. We've got multiple people typing, so we think that's a good thing. Bear with us while we just try and answer some more of the questions. Right, we've got a question here. How does participation help personnel and career development? Well, I think I'm going to hand that one over to Joe.
Yes, for personal development, it's sort of, as I was saying earlier, giving me confidence in what I was doing, knowing that I was doing the right thing, if that sort of makes sense. Career development, I was invited to a sort of meeting at the House of Parliament last week to liaise and talk to MPs and other members of Parliament about engineering, apprenticeships, etc. So it sort of puts you in the spotlight, especially with it from my point of view within my company. It put me in the spotlight with obviously management and senior members of staff. As soon as they saw my name, they'd be like, oh yeah, that rings a bell, and they can sort of go on our internet and see that I won the competition last year. So I'd say personally, yes, it does help from a personal point of view. It boosts your confidence and it does help your career development as well. I hope that answers your question, Dan.
Thanks, Joe. That was really helpful. We did have a question there about it, which has just disappeared off our screen, but it was about, do we offer a place out to everybody that registers? Obviously, there will be an absolute ultimate limit, but we haven't had to turn anybody away as yet, so we don't think that we would have to turn anybody away at all. Where we can offer a place, we will offer a place, and we will try our best to, if we can't specifically give them their first choice in venue, it might be that we offer them an alternative. But yes, we do try our best and haven't yet turned anybody away. Hope that helps.
Is it best to order qualifying competition or RL?
Shirley, you were asking about is it best to hold a qualifying competition? The answer to your question is yes, it possibly is if you've got a lot of competitors to sift through to get your best. I would say it's definitely quality over quantity. It's lovely to have lots and lots of competitors. If you've got lots and lots that are of a really high standard, that's even better. So we do leave it to people to judge their students and their employees as to whether or not they are competent enough to go forward into the competition. But yes, I would suggest it's best to select internally if you have a lot of people. We've got a question about age restriction. Now, in terms of WorldSkills UK competitions, there isn't any age restrictions on them. There is restrictions in terms of the qualifying levels in terms of the competition. So we have level 3 competitions, level 4 competitions, and you would have to read through different levels to see who's fitted that. In terms of international competitors, there is age restriction. So if they were hoping go through all of the competitions and gain a place at international, there is age restrictions there, but that's something that we could cover obviously if that was the case on an individual basis. Hope that answers that one. Costs, what type of costs are involved from an employer's perspective? It's very unique, I would say, to each competition. It's hard to say what specific costs are involved, and it depends on whether you're hosting, whether you're pushing one competitor forward, half a dozen competitors forward. So it is quite an individual cost. And again, it depends how far the competitor goes as well. There's very little cost in terms of having a competitor original heat. There is help available for travel to national finals. The competitors or the employees don't have to pay for accommodation whilst at the national finals. So a lot of that is taken care of. Like I said, there's a lot of additional and extra training that the competitor would be given if they do make it through to national finals and beyond. So it is quite an individual question, so we could sort of take that offline and sort of talk about that on an individual basis. Right. Right, restrictions on the number of times a person can enter. It depends how far they get in a national. So if they go through to the regional heat and win a place in the national final, if they're actually a gold medalist, then they wouldn't be allowed to come back into the same competition and compete again in a national event. So there is rules around that. If they come through to a regional event, don't make it through to the national final, they can come back through the system and actually reapply to join the regionals again and start again. There's no buy-in straight through to the nationals, obviously. They would have to start with everybody else that registers for either a regional or a selection heat and go take their chance again to get through to the nationals. I don't know whether, Matt, you want to touch upon sort of the differences between nationals and internationals and sort of the selections for that.
Yeah, absolutely. So as Joanne has said, if the competitor is actually a gold medalist at one of the competitions, they can't enter again the following year. In terms of the costs, and I'm going to go back to the question there from Helen, the costs associated with the training. Once they're into the international training system as well, all of those costs again are covered. So any out-of-pocket expenses, travel, accommodation, there's no emphasis back on the employer to be paying for any of this at all. So it is something that we would look to cover from the WorldSkills UK side of things. What we do encourage, though, are for people to actually enter the competitions on numerous occasions. So one of the ways that we support that within the Mechanical Engineering CAD is we have two levels. So we have an advanced level and a higher level. So we want to get people involved as young an age as possible. So if you enter the advanced level, first of all, you could potentially enter that for 2 years, 3 years. If you then become a medalist, a winner, you could then move up to the higher competition. So it's all about trying to engage as many of your students as possible within these competitions without thinking that actually you've got to be competing right at the very highest level. So we do have staggered entry points to come into a lot of the competitions as well.
Thank you, Matt. Hopefully that sort of covered off that question. Does anybody else have any more questions? Looks like we've got a couple more coming through. Thinking of wrapping it up if that's okay. Like I said, please, if we haven't answered fully any of the questions that you have, or you do have any more queries about specific competitions, a specific skill, please do either use the WorldSkills UK website to get the answers to that, or contact us via the WorldSkills UK Engineering at Semta email address, and we'll hopefully answer things on an individual basis. And we will be available, obviously, right the way through the registration process, so please don't hesitate to let us know.
And do bear in mind as well that this is all being recorded, so if you want to show it again at a later date to colleagues or to your employees or apprentices or students, it will be available on the Semta website.
We've got our sort of last question here, which we'll take, is from Shirley, and it's in connection with Abu Dhabi 2017. So what I'm going to do is, if you don't mind, can I hand that one over to you, Matt, as our guru of international?
No problem at all. So yes, so the national competitions for this year, we are looking therefore for potential competitors for Abu Dhabi in 2017. What it's not going to do, though, it's not going to restrict other people potentially entering that pool as well at a later date. So, for example, the 2014 competition, we could even potentially, in some of the skill areas, be looking for people for 2015 for Brazil. But the ultimate goal is really to identify potential for 2017, and then at the following national competition as well in 2015, there would be opportunities for us to potentially identify people then for the 2017 competition as well. So it isn't going to completely eliminate people being selected if they don't take part or participate in this year's competition. There is a longer term strategy there.
Thank you, Matt. Shelley, I hope that answered everything that you needed to hear. Right, well, if everybody's okay, we've answered the questions that have come through, I think. We're going to wrap it up and just say thank you for listening. We hope that you found it all very useful. As Joe said, it will be recorded, so it will be available if you want to run through the webinar again, if that's helpful. And yes, again, please do just let us know if you've got any further queries. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Matt, and thank you, Joe, as well.
Bye-bye.
Bye now.
Bye.